Show, and joining us now, the president of Americans for Tax Reform, and that was a group he founded in 1985 at President Reagan's request. They worked very hard to limit the size, cost, and scope of government, opposing higher taxes. Of course, ATR, known for the Taxpayer Protection Pledge, which asks all candidates for federal and state office to commit to the American people in writing that they will oppose all taxes. And in this recent Congress, the 112th, 238 House members, 41 senators took the ATR pledge. On the state level, 13 governors and 1,244 state legislators also took the pledge. So, Grover, first of all, welcome. Good to have you on in the brand new year.
Good to be with you, absolutely.
Well, let's get right to it, Grover. Why is Americans for Tax Reform, your group, touting the fiscal cliff deal as a tax cut, given the pledge that many members took? And quoting you on Twitter on January 2nd, the Bush tax cuts lapsed at midnight last night. Every R voting for Senate bill is cutting taxes and keeping his/her pledge. Did we really get a tax cut?
No. What happened, of course, is that we had an unusual and unprecedented, never to be repeated situation where it was the perfect storm of three tax cuts all lapsing at the same time. The alternative minimum tax patch ended on January 1st. The 2001 Bush tax cut ended on January 1st, and the 2003 tax cut all ended on January 1st of this year. And so that was actually a $500 billion tax increase, automatic. Nobody voted for it. It just happened because we'd allowed all the others to lapse. And the reason they lapsed is that the Democrats had enough votes in the Senate to not allow the tax cuts to be made permanent. Obviously, the Republicans who voted for those tax cuts wanted them permanent. The goal was to make them permanent. They'd been extended a few times, but always temporarily. And what happened, of course, was they were made temporary. They died on the early morning of January 1st. And then the Republicans, in arguing with Obama, got 85% of the value of those tax cuts made permanent, protecting 99% of the American people from seeing a tax increase. Now, the bad news is that 15% of that tax increase disappeared. 1% of the population got whacked, particularly, although Obama's temporary Social Security tax also disappeared at his request. He decided that. But what we did get, and the reason why we're in a better strategic position as taxpayers today than we were 2 months ago, is that what were temporary tax cuts that could be taken away at any moment are now permanent tax cuts. So the only way to raise taxes in the future is to get the Senate to vote a tax increase, the House to vote a tax increase, and the President to sign it. Never again are we going to be in this ridiculous position that one branch of government could force a tax increase. If the Senate had refused to act, it would have been a $500 billion tax increase. If the President had said no, $500 billion tax increase. It was a topsy-turvy world and very irritating because, of course, Republican congressmen were completely frustrated. There was nothing they could do to stop that tax increase from taking effect in whole or in part because it happened automatically. That won't happen again. And now we shift to the war on Obama's overspending, and that's the next 4 years of our lives, that struggle.